Hi YouTube, Neil here, FaceliftInteriors. In today's video we are going to be very hot again. It's very hot outside, it's going to be a very hot few days. I'm going to be very miserable for a few days. My fiance is not going to be at the end of it. Let me tell you this. Right, in today's video we're going to be doing some dining seat pads. We're going to be showing you how to upholster some dining seat pads from start to finish. And it's one of the simplest things you can do in upholstery. So we're going to be upholstering the dining pads in vinyl. We're also going to be showing you how to do corners without pleats, my method of how I do them. So I'm not telling you now, you have to watch all the way through. So if you like upholstery tutorials, don't forget to like, subscribe, click the notification bell so you'll see when new videos come live. So this is how to reupholster dining seat pads. Action! So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start stripping off the old fabric of this dining seat. I'd say always strip the old fabric off. You can go over the top. I'm not going to advise it. On this one I'm going to take all the fabric off. The foam's pretty good, so I'm just going to put a nice layer of Dacron over the top. And I'm going to use a nice vinyl and start upholstering. All the tools that we use are going to be linked in the description below. There's certain tools that you want or you like us to look of a certain tool that I'm using. It's all in the description below. So what I'm doing here is using my carpenter's pincers or pincers. We don't have to get technical, ladies and gentlemen. They're just pincers. Pinching up the old fabric, using the pincers to grip the fabric and rip it from the staples. So now we've stripped all the old fabric off. It's just that lining fabric on top. What we're going to do now is we're going to get the vinyl, cut the vinyl out. So what I'll do now is I'll quickly measure it. When cutting this, you want to just allow 2 inches at the back, 2 inches at the front, same on the sides. So that is going to be 25 front to back, and then side to side. You can see it's wider here, so this is where I want to measure. I don't want to measure back here because I won't have enough fabric. Measure at the widest point, which is here, so that is 27. So let's get some fabric, start cutting those out. Right, so here's a new vinyl, 2 meters, so I've measured 2 meters to do 6 chairs, so should be about right. Right, so we laid our fabric out. We're gonna make sure it's nice and square. That is nice and square because that is lined up here. It's lined up there. So if you want to see how to square your fabric off, we've done a video previously on how to do that. We'll put it in the link above and you can go watch that there. So what I'm going to do now is something I haven't done before with vinyl. Well, I have done before, but not on video. On the back of this vinyl, it is white, so it's easier to mark. Let's measure the fabric first because I think I need to try and get 2 out of a width. 53.5 is what, 26 and 3/4. So what did I measure? 27. So yeah, 26 and 3/4 we'll get away with. 26 and 3/4 mark, and then go up 26 and 3/4. Just do a straight line there. 25 front to back. And we are cutting. With this being a vinyl, there's no real pattern to it, so it doesn't matter what size you use as top because there's no pile, but I will mark them all the same size, so I'm going to put top there. So then bring that over here. So what I've done, laid that on there, so I can use this template now to just cut all the rest of my panels. Right guys, so once you stripped off your dining pads, as you can see here, all the old fabric's off. Now I'm going to show you how to cover it. We've already cut our fabric to size. We know that that fits, and I've already cut our bottom into size, so I'll put that over to the side. So what you want to do is check your pad and the foam on that. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. What I'm going to do is just put a layer of Dacron over the top, fairly thick. I think it's about 7 ounce, just so it's got a nice luxurious feel and it's got a bit of extra padding on it because it doesn't need any extra foam. So what I'm going to do, glue the Dacron on. I'm going to show you how to upholster it. You might be wondering why this is here. This hairdryer is a very useful tool. And what we're going to do is now we're going to put some Dacron on. So what I'm going to do is glue this on. So just using standard spray adhesive. Spray the Dacron and the pad. Just want it to stick properly. Don't need to go mad. Just enough so you've got a nice fix. Then what we're going to do is we're going to flip this over, and I'm just going to glue around here, and I want to stick the sides up as well. So I'm spraying so the glue hits the Dacron and the pad. So what I'm going to do here is roll this up
So we get padding all the way round. So now I'm going to use my scissors and just cut away all the excess that I don't need. So that's the Dacron on. Always flip it over and check. Sometimes you might have a staple on your table and it gets stuck to the top, or little bits of wood, and then when you put the fabric on, you pull it nice and tight, you can see a nice little indent of a staple through the fabric. And if the customer feels it, you're going to have to do it again. So we won't be doing that. So what I'm doing, laying the fabric down here, you see I've got top here. Doesn't really matter because it's a vinyl, but I'm just doing them all the same way. So at the top, I'm going to put the back. What I'm doing, looking down at the pad, making sure I've got enough here to come round. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to pull that very tight, like 1, 2. Then I'm going to go to the back. What I'm doing is I'm using my left hand to pull the fabric up, pull all the slackness out. Then my finger rests on the top there so the fabric can't slip. So if I let go, you can see that all the fabric goes back. What we're going to do is pull the fabric up, use the thumb and the index finger to hold the fabric down. And we're going to go 2 there. We're going to do 2 on each side. This is how I do them anyway. You can totally find your own way if you'd like to. I'm just going to show you how I do these. 2 there, around the last 2 there. So it's all sort of semi-fixed now, so we've put 2 staples everywhere, so the fabric is on. Because this is a vinyl, if it was a fabric I would have done 2 temps, which is you put a staple in at an angle like that, it's easy to take out. You can just get your pincers and take it out. Because this is a vinyl, I can just pop the fabric back off there. Now what I'm using here is using my right hand to hold the fabric and my left hand to pull all the excess up and over, because I want this to be nice and tight. Then I'm using my index finger and my thumb to hold the fabric down like so, and then I go 1, 2, and then I'm going to work my way along. So rolling our hand over, using our right hand, pull down and then roll the excess over, go 1, 2, 3. And as you're doing this, you can look down at your vinyl, see if there's any bumps. You don't want any bumps. Nice and smooth, pull down nice and tight, roll over with your hand, hold it tight. As we come to the corner, we stop. This side, you'll be able to see what I'm doing with this hand. So this hand is rolling all the excess up. Look down at your pad, you don't want any lumps and bumps, nice and smooth. So that is the front done. Now we're going to do exactly the same at the back. So I'm going to pull these 2 out, pop them 2 out, and then I'm going to go use my hand, get all the excess, and then go 1, 2. Now we work our way across again like we did on the other side. So we're essentially going to do the same all the way around. So let's take these 2 off on the side. So as you can see, it's all on except for the corners. So our old friend, the hairdryer. We have it on very hot. Basically, what this allows us to do with vinyl, this vinyl's quite tough, quite thick. So it heats it up, makes it a lot softer, it makes it a lot stretchier. It's hard to get all this stuff out here on this corner. So as soon as you stretch it, that gives you a lot more flexibility here. So just watch what I do. I will heat it and then I'll start pulling it around and I'll start putting pleats up on the bottom, because that's what you have to do. So we're going to heat this up. Already I can feel it, it's turned a lot softer, much easier to work with. So let's stop there. So what I'm going to do, start stapling round, and I can feel that it's so much softer now. So what I'm using is my fingers. See, I can pull all that out up the top. It doesn't matter if there's pleats up on the bottom, like so. See how there's nothing on the... Easy as that, and there is no pleats anywhere. If it was fabric, you might have to put a couple of pleats in here. Because it's vinyl and we can heat it, let's show you this corner as well. So pulling all the excess up nice and tight allows us to stretch the fabric round. See, there's no pleats. Robert's your father's brother, or Bob's your uncle, as we say here in the UK. Bob's your uncle, or Rob's your father's brother. That is all the fabric on. So what I've done is I've just made a snip here down to one of the staples. So what I'm going to do now is run my blade round, take all the excess fabric off. You can do this with scissors if you are a novice. as you do not want to be cutting over here and having to do it again. What I'm doing here is, obviously there's a lot more fabric here, it's all gathered up, so I just pull it, let the blade do the work. One thing you have to bear in mind when you're doing pads is there's a hole here that the pads screw into. So I'm going to have to take a couple of these out just to see where it is, and it is there. Just because the customer took these off, I didn't take them off. So I need to make it as easy as possible for them to find that hole again. Let's get a couple of staples in there, hold it down again. So that's a hole that the customer's going to need. So now I'm going to show you how to do the bottoming. I've already got the bottom cut to size. So what I do here is I sort of lay it on, fold the fabric under and pull it nice and tight so I get a nice clean line. Then I staple on the front, middle. Then I push out, still following that line. One there. It's feel like Gordon Ramsay. One fillet of chicken. Lovely. Beautiful. So as we come to the back, fold the fabric under. Nice, clean, tight line. I really need to work on my Gordon Ramsay impression. It's pretty shit. So like we did on the front, pull the fabric, get a nice tight, clean line, staple in the middle, work your way out. We're going to take all this excess fabric off. So we cut that off. We didn't come too close to the end with a staple here and here. So we've left ourselves enough so we can fold that under nice and easy. Roll your fabric under itself, nice and tight. 1, 2. And as you come to the corners, we put a few more in because obviously there's a bit more fabric there with all the gathering. And what we're going to do, where that hole is, we are going to staple a little square of staples around it. So we can cut that out using our blade. Nice and easy. So now the final bit, there is a couple of holes in the middle here, so I'm just going to run my fingers around to find them. I'm going to stick our facelift fire label in between it. So we're just going to glue that in between them two holes. Don't cover them up. And that is how you upholster a dining pad in vinyl.
So that is how you reupholster some dining seat pads with my technique, how to do the corners without any pleats. Really hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, drop us a comment if there's anything that we can help you out with. See you next week. Thanks for watching.